Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Press Box High School Football Show. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Kenny Varner. Kenny V, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. How about you?
Oh, fantastic! Football season. Um, I like the fall with the leaves changing and stuff, and this is when all the sports basically, you know, I like baseball, but you got the summer where it's just baseball. And now we're having all these sports come together. You got is here, basketball and hockey are started. Uh, High school wrestling and college wrestling are just around the corner. It's a great time.
Oh, it is. It is. It's a nice little plethora of different sports that if you get tired of one, you can go to another, or you know, you have a lot to choose from.
And we want to get everybody. I'm glad we do the show at 5 because I know everybody's going to be rushing to see that Commanders Bears game. Do you know
uh,
the over under for that? I mean, the total for that is only 38 and a half.
oh, I can
That's
believe.
it. 38 and a half for the Bears and the Commanders.
I'd like to know how come Washington is the favorite. That's pretty bad when you have a Bears team that's
Well, I think they just threw a dart and said, okay, they're the favorites. But that's not our job to talk about here. It's high school. Another Friday Night Lights coming up for State College. It's a Saturday afternoon. We will get to that huge game shortly. But first, we're going to recap week 7. And I told you today or yesterday when we were talking, can't believe it's week 8 already.
now postseason's just around the corner, and the season's got another 2-3 weeks left. The regular season. It's
Yeah. And speaking of right around the corner, talk about last week, Mifflin County, who only needed one win to qualify for district playoffs, dropped their second in a row, this time to Milton Hershey, 41-27. And Kenny, 4 more turnovers in that game. And that's 13 now in the last 3 games. They had a close win against Palmyra, 14-0, and then were beaten 28-14 by Cedar Cliff, and now 41-27 by Milton Hershey. And the disturbing thing for the Huskies, I think, and I know you were covering the game, so I'll get your opinion on this, but I think the real disturbing part about this with Mifflin County is that they've given up 69. The defense was playing so well, they've given up 69 points in the last 2 games.
Well, yeah, with the last game against Milton Hershey, it was one of those where their receivers just they were out leaping us. They're coming in 6'2", 6'3", and they're just able to just get over the top of our defenders, and that caused a lot of bit of havoc there on Thursday night.
And for the second straight week, they gave up over 100 yards to another back. Elijah Johnson just ran right through us, right through Mifflin County, I should say, not us.
Yeah, that first half, you got to credit. What's not really said about it is in the second half, the defense stiffened up, and I think they kept him in check for most of the second half. But he had over 100 yards rushing in the first half. They were fine. He was finding the holes, and the speed on Milton Hershey was incredible. Our guys were just a hit or a foot too slow to catch him once he got past the line of scrimmage.
Well, that's always been Mifflin County's problem. I mean, they for a big school, it's not like the size of Cumberland Valley or anything like that. But for a 6A school, size has always been a problem, and speed has always been a problem for Mifflin County, for the Huskies. And it happened last Thursday with Milton Hershey.
Mm-hmm. But you got to give the Huskies credit. They battled. They even got it to within 8 in the third quarter, but just couldn't get that other touchdown they needed to get it even closer. So this was one of those. It was a crazy game. I mean, I think within the first 5 minutes of the game, Mifflin County was down 13-0.
Yeah.
And then Mifflin County actually took the lead at scoring 2 in a row there to take a 14-13 lead for one play until the special teams gave up a 80-yard touchdown run. So it was, and this, it was just like a roller coaster of a game. I think it was something like 28-21 at the half. I mean, it was just, it was like a track meet. But then in the second half, it really slowed down, and things got under control. Things just got crazy there in the first half for Mifflin County.
Well, the thing that's discouraging, though, is the way the turnovers now are coming in bunches, and the way teams the last 2 weeks have run on them.
Mm-hmm.
That Coach Breon has to be a little concerned about that. I mean, yeah, he did get a good game from Deacon Schaefer. And, I mean, he's got his big three of Deacon Schaefer, Isaac Wilson, and quarterback Landon Eichhorn. And Reagan Ettinger defensively, and Wilson. But, man, 69 points in 2 games, 13 turnovers, and just getting gashed on the run. And now it doesn't get any easier. Don't look at the record. We'll explain why. The Huskies in this Mid-Penn Keystone matchup, 4-3, 2-2 in the year, take on Hershey. And I believe the Hershey, I forgot to put their nickname. I think they're the Trojans.
Trojans, yep.
The Trojans are 3-4, but they're 3-1 in the Keystone. They are actually second place in the Keystone. And if you're looking at common opponents, they beat Milton Hershey and Cedar Cliff, who Mifflin County has both lost to. 2 of their 4 losses have been to state-ranked teams. They lost to Gettysburg in the beginning of the season. I think it was in week 1 or 2. And then last week, and we've talked about him a lot on the show, Bishop McDevitt crushed them 72-0. But then again, that's Bishop McDevitt. McDevitt held them to 83 total yards. 83. Think about that. That's how good they are. But this is a team, you can't look at their record of 3-4 and go, oh my, it's this is going to be an easy one for the Huskies. They got a 3-headed monster too in Daniel Painter at quarterback with Marcus Sweeney, his wide out, and Angel Cabrera back in the backfield. Any thoughts?
Oh, I think it's going to be. It's all about the matchups. I mean, I truly believe that. I think if Mifflin County can neutralize the running game, I think they've got a fighter's chance in this one.
Well, they're going to have to. In high school football, I know it's starting to become a little bit pass, but it still comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. Mm-hmm. If you can't stop the run like the Huskies haven't done in the last 2 weeks, they're going to lose.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of those games where if the Huskies, it could change their whole outlook. Right now, they're a little down, came out strong. They're a little down, but if they have a good showing, the longer they can stay with Hershey, the better their chances are. And, like they did against Milton Hershey last week, if they can just get one extra touchdown or, it's going to be whoever has the ball last. I think will come out.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, like I said, blocking and tackling, and who makes the fewest mistakes with the turnover wise. You have, like I said, Sweeney. He's got 27 catches, 579 yards, 6 scores. Painter has thrown for 832 for 6 touchdowns. And Cabrera, 439 yards, 5 touchdowns. But we have our I got to stop saying we, because I live here in Lewistown. I keep saying we. Eichhorn, setting records for passing for the Huskies. He has 983 yards and 10 touchdowns on the season. Isaac Wilson, last year's Euphema winner, picked up right where he left off, 32 catches, 409 yards. And then Deacon Schaefer, 702 yards and 7 scores. Deacon has a chance to be only the second 1,000-yard rusher in school history. The only other one to do it was Heath Hidley in 2013.
It's been quite a while.
So, prediction, go for it.
All right. I am calling this one for the Huskies. I still think there will be a hangover from Hershey's beating last week. And with that, you don't know who got hurt for them, if they have a full team or, I'm looking for Mifflin County to pull it off 28-23.
Well, I'm going to have to deal with my, the blowback I'm going to get for this. But Mifflin County, the defensive line has been beaten. And if you look at it, it is a small defensive line. Small. I think that's going to be the difference in the game. They got to stop the turnovers, and I think they can do that. But size, you can't coach against. And
right.
Their defensive line, I think it's going to be Milton Hershey's offensive line that'll take control, and I'm going to say 28-21 Hershey. I'm gonna get killed by people around here.
Nah.
I'll just stay in the house like I always do. All right, get to the next game. We'll sort out last week. Juniata, 13-7 in a tougher than expected game with Boiling Springs. And Boiling Springs, the Bubblers snapped Juniata's 3-game shutout streak. They were going for 4 in a row, but still got to win. Defense came through again, held them to only 7 points. And, you got to admire what this defense is doing for Mifflin. From Juniata, the Indians on the season. Besides those shutouts, I looked it up. They have 17 sacks and 10 interceptions.
That's awesome.
That is impressive. I know you covered them. What are your thoughts on the Indians?
Oh, I think they've got a great defense, and when you have a great defense like that, it helps your offense. If they start off slow like they did against the Bubblers, they gave up that early touchdown, and but the defense kept the game within reach. And whenever the Indians started to get their offense churning and going, they were able to get hot and get those late scores and pull out the win. So
yeah, like I was saying, it was tougher than expected because they were down 7-0 in the fourth quarter to Boiling Springs and scored 2 touchdowns. Or that would have been a big upset if the Indians would have lost. And now you think we're going to get to State College in the Biggie game, but there's another one. Maybe not as big as State College Harrisburg, but this is for most likely the Mid-Penn Liberty Championship, the conference championship. Juniata 5-2, 3-0, takes on Upper Dauphin 5-2, 4-0, and Upper Dauphin are the Trojans too. And that is going to be a barn burner, I think. It's going to be a battle between what we love to see. Which one's better, Juniata's defense or Upper Dauphin's offense? Upper Dauphin beat James Buchanan last week, 72-13. And I got a stat for you. You ready, Kenny?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Running back Brady Morgan carried 3 times for 159 yards and 3 scores.
Oh, that's a wow.
He averaged 53 yards a carry and had a longest of a 63-yard score and against Buchanan, and then they took him out. 3 carries, 159 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Probably didn't break much of a sweat either.
No, he's well rested for this week. And then one thing we didn't mention when we were talking about Juniata against Bowling Springs, Waylon Ehrenzeller, their leading rusher and their leading tackler on defense, only carried once and then left the game.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, he's with an injury. Don't know if he's going to be able to play or not. And if he can't play, that's going to hurt Juniata.
yeah, that's going to change. That could change their fortunes real quick.
Yeah, because he's got 52 tackles on the year, 2 sacks, and he's rushed. Can't remember. I think it was like, what does he rush for? Like 400 or 500 yards?
Yes, about
Something around there.
Round in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you're talking about it's going to be Juniata's defense. Juniata only gives up 8 points a game against Upper Dolphin's offense. Upper Dolphin averages 41 points a game. And the other advantage they have is it's down there, I believe, right?
Yes. Yep. They have their second. Juniata has their second road game in a row.
Yeah. So I haven't seen anything on Juniata. I mean, Upper Dolphin. I just know Morgan is their main guy. He's got 819 yards rushing, 10 touchdowns, and he also is their leading receiver with 14 catches for 119 yards and a touchdown.
Well, their quarterback, Aiden Bigeman, he passes for an average of over 100 yards per game, too.
Yeah, he had 133 on 8 completions against James Buchanan. So, yeah, they can pass. It's not like that they just run, but Morgan's their main guy, and that's who the Indians got to stop. So, what's your prediction?
Well, I'm going with the Indians defense. I think either they're going to show up, make a big contribution once again. They're going to give up a little more points in this one, but it's still I have them coming out 17, Upper Dolphin 12.
All right. I got a caveat to this. I'm going to pick Juniata too. I'm going to say 14-13 if Aaron Zeller plays.
Okay.
If he doesn't play, I think Upper Dolphin wins. I'm not trying to cheat here. I'm still going to go with Juniata. Right. But I think if Aaron Zeller plays, they win. If he doesn't, Juniata becomes one-dimensional with Carnegie passing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing against everybody else on that team. Seth Lobb's decent.
Mm-hmm.
But, Aaron Zeller's that guy in the backfield, the hammer, and I think they become one-dimensional if he's not in. So, next.
Okay.
The Rams destroyed Conemaugh Valley. The Blue Jays lost 48-7. And once again, it was the dynamic duo of Ty Watson and quarterback Jackson Romig. Watson, 6 carries, sort of like Morgan, 6 carries, 160 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then there is a quarterback's dream. Romig, 7 of 7 for 155 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a 76-yard score.
Wow.
Just going to go. That's what you got to do. I mean, a perfect 100% completion percentage. What more could you ask for? And Watson is a beast. With that game, he's got 808 yards rushing and 17 touchdowns on the season.
Hmm.
Heck of an athlete.
Yeah.
And he's a heck of a wrestler, too. We mention it all the time. Sixth in the state last year as a sophomore. But it seems like, everybody's going that. Remember the big three, the Cowboys, Aikman, Smith, Irvin?
Yep. Oh
Everybody's
yeah.
going big three in high school, too, because you got Watson, Romig, and their receiver, Miles Brooks, who has 34 catches for 480 yards and 8 scores. Those three, Romig has 3 rushing scores. He's thrown for 1,040 yards and 12 touchdowns. Between the three, ready for this, Kenny?
Mhm.
They have 29 of Penns Valley's 36 touchdowns on the year.
Impressive.
Now, I know you've covered them too. What do you think about the Rams?
I think that they're a team that's back. They kind of were down a little bit after their loss to Bald Eagle, but the last couple of weeks they've started to get their mojo going again, and there are good things happening on the horizon for these Rams team as they get down towards the postseason. They play quite a tough team though this weekend, going against.
Yep, here we go. They are going to play the Golden Eagles. Tyrone 6-1, 4-1 takes on the Rams 5-2, 3-2. In a big game last week, Tyrone knocked off Clearfield 21-14, and that, if I'm not mistaken, Clearfield. Are they all one loss, or does
Yeah.
that 2 conference losses for the Bison?
That was their first one. It's like a complete circle here.
So you got Clearfield, Tyrone, and Bald Eagle area all with 1 loss in the Mountain League,
and all to each other. Tyrone beat Bald Eagle, or Clearfield beat Bald Eagle. Bald Eagle
7-3.
Yep, and then Tyrone beat Clearfield. So nice little circle there.
Yeah, I wonder how do they do that tiebreaker. I guess I don't know. So, but they were down 14-7 and scored 2 touchdowns in the third quarter. Tyrone did to beat them. Ashton Walk, 18 of 30, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns. Colton Miller, 6 catches, 51 yards and a touchdown. And this is unusual for, past Tyrone teams. Like, do you remember Jason Jones and Marcus Owens? It was running back, man. And now this Tyrone has become a passing team. I mean, they can run, but they're really basically a passing team. With Walk, he has 1,036 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 3 picks. And then he likes to throw to Ross Gampy and Andrew Weaver. But the strength of the Golden Eagles. Defense. They're only giving up 10 points a game. And Braden Ewing, we mentioned him before on this show, defensive end. Defensive tackle, 39 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 7 sacks. And Andrew Weaver, 28 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. It's going to be a toughie for the Rams against Tyrone, but it should be a pretty entertaining game. What do you think?
Oh, I believe so too. That's one of the things that the Rams do well is they defend the pass real well. It's the running game that they have problems with at times. I think that it's in the air. Tyrone just had a big game. They are probably mentally exhausted. I can see them maybe overlooking this game here against the Rams. So I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it upset again. This time, I think Penns Valley's going to do it over the Golden Eagles, 21-7.
I'm going to have everybody mad at me in Center County and Mifflin County because I'm taking Tyrone in this. Penns Valley's been doing well, but I think Tyrone has the defense that can shut down Watson or at least contain him a little bit. And I think it'll be Tyrone. I think it's going to be 28-21 Golden Eagles. And it is my privilege. Last night we couldn't get him in, but we have on the show Bald Eagle area head football coach Jesse Nagle. And coach, thank you for taking the time to come on here. Appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Now, talk about being on a roll. We'll bring it up here. Bald Eagle crushed Phillipsburg last week, 42-13. And not that it's a surprise, poor Phillipsburg really down. But the Eagles have really come on. They crushed well, they were ninth in the state when they played them, Tyrone 31-7. Now the dismantling of Phillipsburg, and that you're talking 73-20 outscored the opponents the last two games. And you and I were talking, Coach, last night on the phone. You told me that you could sense that the team was really, really coming together right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The first couple games, there was everything that could go wrong went wrong, and last couple weeks, they really put it together. And I think the out of conference schedule that we had was so brutal that got us ready to play the Hammers in our conference. And I think Tyrone is a great football team, and we did a nice offensive game and defensive game plan against them, and then PO, it was early and often, I guess, and not to be mean by any means, but it definitely was out of hand in that first half. I mean, that's a lot of our subs got a lot of time, and they did well too. I mean, they played hard and did well also.
Coach, would you say that the Penns Valley game was when things started to turn around for you, especially in that second half?
Yeah, I think so. I think offensively we were trying to force some things against a given defense that everybody was trying to play as man under two and take away our vertical game. And first 2 weeks I think we kind of forced that as OC did, and then he just kind of realized, hey, let's take what they give us. If we got to run our quarterback a little bit, we will. If just run the rock and then let it open up. And I think Valley, we had almost 615 or so yards of total offense. And then since then, our offense has been clicking. Defensively, we've been pretty good all year long. Still need to get better each week, but we've been pretty solid there all year long.
Now, yeah, you were talking about. You said to me that you thought, and I kind of agree with it, that you could have been undefeated here coming into this game, coming up with Huntington.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The first game we had I think 7 drop balls, 2 drop touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 68 yards of negative snaps overhead. Second game, we had 6 drop balls, 1 touchdown, and also I think 72 yards over the head. And we still were 7-3 against Clearfield. So, we felt very confident that, if we got those things corrected, and we moved some guys around and figured out the right puzzle pieces, that we would be, in a good position by the time postseason rolled along. And we feel pretty good where we're at right now. Of course, we're still trying to figure out a couple last puzzle pieces, but the kids are definitely responding and taking care of business and take care of the football.
Yeah, you were mentioning about your offense, and absolutely, like you're averaging like 300, almost 350 yards a game, but there's balance there. 219 passing, 121 rushing. I mean, when you could do that, that's got to make a coach feel good. Where people, you're not one dimensional, and people can focus on other teams can focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Marty Tobias, I really respect him, Penns Valley. He said, in the paper, how do you stop it? And I think that, if we take care of the football and we don't miss assignments, we're very, very hard challenge for teams to stop us because we're so balanced. And I think I shared with you last night, I don't know for sure, but maybe 8 or 9 different guys have scored touchdowns on our team. So, it's definitely, well, you can't just focus on one guy.
I assume Carson is your son.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. This here, I think more impressive than anything. I'm gonna want to get you to talk about him a little. Uh, I know that you hear 119 of 183, 1,547 yards, 15 touchdowns. But what impressed me the most is he completing 65% of his passes. You do not see many sophomores that are that composed to be that accurate. Tell
Yeah.
me your thoughts on Carson.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's my son, and I don't like to really talk about that. But I mean, it's just being honest. But I mean, we knew last year. I shared this with people. We were hesitant on whether to pull the trigger on him or not last year, and when we went to off-season workouts and stuff with State High and Penn Cambria and some other schools, and they were like, this kid is, I mean, he was out throwing their starting quarterbacks as a freshman, accuracy wise and everything. And they said, you got to pull the trigger, coach. And it was still tough, and we let him compete, but he's always had that natural gift of the arm, and is being very accurate. Beginning of the season, I think he was trying to do too much, and we were putting him in some situations of trying to force some things. And he's really, since that first game, has been very composed, and just taking what the defense gives us. And it's something that he needs to get better. There's no question, but it's nice to have a guy that can read a defense, read essentially a lot of our screen game is options for him, and he takes it in his own hands. So he does a great job with that. So it's very nice to have somebody like that.
That is the wave, isn't it? I mean, the little receiver screens and like out of the spread. That's become the thing that most people are running. Wouldn't you say, Coach? Can you hear me? I think we lost him a little, Kenny.
Here,
He
give me
might
one
be.
second here.
uh,
Yeah,
Do you have
no problem.
do you have me here?
Yeah, I got you.
Do you have me, Kenny?
Yep, you're loud and
Okay,
clear.
I might, but give me about, yeah, I was gonna say, give me about another 10 seconds. I want to make sure I get through this. Um, I don't want all the viewers to hear me flying, though. That's the only thing. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good now. But yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that and outsiders don't realize, and Coach Franco said it. It's very hard to practice our screen game because you have to have a guy that can pull the trigger and quickly and read what to do, whether to pull it, whether to throw it. It's an option routes for him. And I think having a kid that can do it, it's year two, he got better at it, plus at home, and showing them things, it definitely helps, for us to, be able to spread the ball and give him that opportunity, and the kids the opportunities, that option of the screen game.
You
Well,
also,
I'll give it. I'm sorry, Kenny. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you also got to like the focus that your team has going onto the field every game. In that game against the PO, we talked about how they were ready, they were focused, and they weren't going to let anything stop them from pulling out the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just talked about this. We just left broke film, and we said the same thing. It's playoff week every single week, and we have used that mentality since Montoursville. I thought we came out flat against Montoursville. Now that place was rocking. I've never coached or played in a stadium like that night. I mean, they're really behind their coach with battling cancer, and it was outstanding atmosphere. But that being said, since that game, the expectation is it doesn't matter who's in front of us, and if we want to be an elite team or a great team, we got to perform like that against the average teams or the good teams or the great teams. So that's the mentality, and we're going to continue with that.
I want to ask one more question about Carson. I know you don't like talking about your son, but put on the coach's hat here for a minute. Doing this as a sophomore, you mentioned about the arm and the recognition. What do you think he has to improve to get even better?
His mobility. He runs. He's starting to run the ball downhill very well, but he still has to work on his mobility. Be more of a dual threat kid. Right now he does enough. We call enough plays to allow him to run to get teams honest, but we don't got a kid that can control the offense like that behind him. So we limit him very a lot, I guess I should say, with the running game. But that's something that he worked on last year. He did a lot of speed agility work, and he's got to continue to do that.
And you said about your defense, you're only giving up about if you round up 15 points a game. And I think that gets lost because everybody's focusing on your offense and what they're doing. Can you talk about your defense a little bit? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, other than the one game against Montoursville, defensively, 4 of those or 28 of those points have been, or 35 of those points have been on our second team or defensive touchdown. So, if you take those away, I mean, the number goes down tremendously, in that first team, that first group, and the guys that rotate on that. So, I think they're doing a great job. I think they're understanding their rules and they're playing their spots very well. We got to get better. I mean, we over pursue sometimes. We get too deep in the backfield sometimes. But I think overall there's a lot of inexperienced young guys that are playing on that group, and they're definitely maturing and coming along very nicely.
Yeah, and stats for people listening out there, how impressive this defense has been. Aggressive, 20 and a half sacks, 54 and a half tackles for loss, 6 picks, 7 fumble recoveries. That's pretty good, Coach.
Yeah, and they're doing a nice job. Like I said, I mean, other than the one hiccup in Montoursville, that was one that, I think I put the stat out there. No turnovers, 21 points. I don't think in my 7 years we've ever lost a game with that stat. And defensively, we just didn't perform. And I'm the defensive coordinator, so I was pretty disappointed with that. But since then, the kids have definitely done, understood what they need to do, and they've made the adjustments, and they're playing very well.
What do you like to run, Coach?
I'm multiple. We go from 3 front to a 6 front. Like this week, Huntington's going to see us in the 3. They're going to see us in the 4. They're going to see us in the 5 and the 6. So, in the back end, we run anywhere from cover 1 to cover 0 to cover 4 to quarter, half. A roll coverage, a robber coverage. So, usually we run 4 or 5 coverages. Yeah. So, I mean, for instance, a lot of young kids like the Walk kid. He's a very nice quarterback. We got him 8 times, I think, or 9 times in the backfield, and he had 100 yards out of 30 attempts. So we confused him. We rolled a lot of coverages and did a lot of different things up front. So our kids have a lot of responsibility and have to think a lot on the fly because we don't huddle. I give checks as soon as we see the different type of personnel or personnel or formations on the field, and they're checking and they're going on the fly, and they got to think fast. So our kids have done an outstanding job with that. And I think that they're only getting better because, again, there were a lot of inexperienced kids at first, and they're definitely coming along.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you were talking about that, they definitely have to be able to. They're definitely intelligent to be able to have to pick all that up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Everything you're doing.
Yeah, no doubt. And we really harp it. We watch a power film. That's something that we require or expect. And if kids don't have a couple hours of film on a week, then I let them know how disappointed I am of them, because we say we got to outwork everybody, and that's a mindset we try to go every single week.
And let's talk about your opponent. We'll bring that up. The Eagles, 4-3, 4-1 in the Mountain League, are taking on the Huntington Bearcats, 2-5, 2-3 overall. What do you? I know you've seen the film on them. What are your thoughts on Huntington?
Well, I think they played some good teams really well. They played some good teams not so well. So I think it's one of those things you really don't know what's coming into Wingate. I think they have some nice athletes. They got a couple nice defensive linemen, and a linebacker is tough. So they got some nice pieces. I think they have done a nice job adjusting week to week. Their coaching staff, we think has done a lot better job than in the past. Make some adjustments. So I think they have a lot of good pieces. I think they do a lot of nice things at times, and then there's other times that you scratch your head and think, man, that why are they allowing Clearfield to do this or that when we know they're better than that. So I think that it's something that we gotta come out strong right away and kind of put them away early. That way they don't believe that they can hang around with us, and then it gets a really, really tight game. It could be anybody's game.
And how have your practices been so far this week?
Extremely focused. We're that mindset of every week's a playoff week, and we're not losing again. That's a mindset. So, and that's something that I think for us coming into the season, we felt that like I said earlier, that the possibility was real that we could do a really nice job, maybe one of the most successful wins-loss seasons that we had in the regular season, and it didn't start out that way, and the kids, it stung. So we don't want to feel that way again, at least for a long time. So the mindset every single day, we're out in the field, we're preparing, we're getting ready for the next opponent, and in this case it's Huntington.
Yeah, I know you're not looking ahead, but just a little bit of your thoughts. Double A in District 6 is definitely the toughest there is. You got Richland, Bellwood Annis, Bishop Guilfoyle. That's a rough hoe. Wouldn't you say? I think we might have lost him again.
Yeah, I think so.
The woods of Wingate. Maybe we'll hold off until he gets back. Maybe he can get back on.
Mm-hmm.
Live streaming, baby.
Gotta love live radio. I keep saying radio.
Well, it's kind of like radio. You there, Coach? Well, we'll move on for a second until he can get back on.
Okay, sounds good.
So, Bald Eagle, we've already talked about that against Huntington. What's your prediction, Mr. Varner?
Well, one of the things, too, before we go with the prediction, their special teams. I didn't get a chance to talk to them about his special teams, but this year their special teams has given their offense quite great field position on more times than not. That's one of the unknown factors that doesn't get stressed a lot. So,
and we have Coach Nagle back on, I believe. Coach, can you hear me?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sorry.
Are you going up Wingate? You going up the snowshoe, maybe?
Nah, actually, I'm home. I have no clue why that happened, but yeah.
Are you a Wingate guy, or?
Yeah, I live up about 10 minutes going up towards Port Matilda, like up Black Mow somewhere.
Okay, I used to live in Clarence.
Okay, so that hall right there.
Oh yeah, we were big. We had the IGA.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah,
so
what I was talking
question
about
was Double A. I know you're not looking ahead, but Double A District 6 is definitely the toughest class in District 6. You have Richland, Bellwood Annis, Guilfoyle, Penns Valley, who you already beat, but That's a tough road to hoe.
Yeah, and you got Bishop Guilfoyle in there too.
Yeah.
You got Southern Huntington will probably be 7-3. Mount Union will be 7-3 probably. Yeah, I mean when you look at it and you say that the number 7 seed is going to be 7-3, you're wow. I mean it's going to be intense every game. It's going to be a challenge every game.
Kenny, you want to say that about getting his thoughts on what you were talking to me about?
Oh yeah, Coach. One of the things that I noticed too is your special teams have come up real huge for you more times than not this year.
Yeah, absolutely. We really harp that. We got a lot of guys that maybe not get in as much on the first and second or first team offense or defense. So we put a lot of pride in that special teams units, and we really harp. Do your job, do it well in special teams because it's a third of the game, and a lot of kids have done a great job so far. And we do a lot of crazy things. Every single kickoff, I'm telling a kid where to kick the ball and we adjust 7 different zones and, either in the air or on the ground. So it's actually 14 different, and the kids really respond to that. They understand it. Punt team does a great job. I think everybody was so used to us faking for years, that they don't really play us with depth. So we flip the field position quite a bit. And again, a lot of those kids are not your average guys on the first and second or first team offense and defense. So really proud of them. They've been doing a great job in owning what they can control, and what they can control is, the special teams, and they're doing a great job.
We are here with Jesse Nagle, the head football coach at Bald Eagle area. Very impressive what he's done up there with the Eagles. His first 2 seasons, 7-14. He's trying to build the program, but since then, 36-19. Very impressive. And he's got Huntington this week and trying to move on to 5-3 on the season. Said they're not going to lose the rest of the way. I believe him. What do you think, Kenny?
Oh, I believe him, definitely. I've seen that team play. Oh, especially recently.
Coach, we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Thank you, and good luck the rest of the year and into the playoffs.
Yeah,
thank you very. Yep, thank you guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. That's Jesse Nagle, head football coach of Bald Eagle area. And give me your prediction there, Kenny Varner. What do you think?
Okay, let me see.
With Huntington.
I got a cheat sheet here, and it was the wrong place. Okay. Definitely the Eagles are not going to overlook Huntington this week. Like I said, the last week their focus against Penns Valley was really, really amazing. I'm going to say this week is going to be a lot of the same like last week. It's going to be 42-7 Bald Eagle.
I agree with that. I was going to say 48-7. I don't even think it's going to be close. Bald Eagle area with the win. This is a reminder. You can pretty soon. The PressBoxPA.com is coming. Our website. We will have columns, features, previews, live stream. It's going to be great. A one-stop shop for Central PA, and hopefully we can branch out even farther than that in the future. Right, Mr. Varner?
Oh, yeah. The sky is the limit.
Also, yeah, it is. And also, if you have any questions, any requests for guests, anything, drop us a line at the pressbox9921@gmail.com. That's the pressbox9921@gmail.com. Sound like a radio guy there.
Hey, yeah, little experience there, huh?
Little bit. All right, let's get moving on. We
Okay.
have the Bellefonte Red Raiders crushed last week 36-12 by Huntington. And we know of Bald Eagle. I'm still on the Bald Eagle mode. We know of Bellefonte's problems offensively, and it continues even every week. And there's really not much you can do now, Kenny. Bellefonte 1-6 on the year. They just don't have the offense.
Well, and to add to that, their sideline looks like a MASH unit. with all the injuries and stuff that they've had, and then you add being young, and it just doesn't doesn't spell well for the Red Raiders this season. But I will say that in the games that I've seen them, no matter what the score was, they always fought. They always played with pride, and played down to the last second. A lot of teams quit. This team doesn't have any quit in it, and should be recognized for that, even despite their record.
Yeah, I mean, but I got some stats here. The offense, how are you going to do it when they have only had they average 82 yards passing, 39 yards rushing a game. That's 121 yards total.
Mm-hmm.
They've been outscored 226-48, and they have only 5 touchdowns offensively all season.
Yeah,
That's tough.
It is.
And I feel bad for them. It's just that you go through these phases. Not everybody can be like Southern Columbia.
Well,
and every year you're fighting for a state championship. And you go through these periods of rebuilding, and that's what's happening to the Red Raiders right now.
Well, if I could give them a little advice, they can just look no further than our own Mifflin County Huskies. Last year, didn't win a game, very young line. They took their lumps. And then this year they're starting to get into a group. It just takes, one season of, I guess sometimes I feel that sometimes it's not bad to lose because you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about how you don't want to feel going into the next season, how it feels to suck, when you lose. So right. I just think that this is something that if they want, they can harness this, remember how it feels. And then when they play next season, it's a whole different ball game, a whole different season.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Mifflin County 4-3 right now after going 0-10 a year ago, so you can turn it around a little, but it takes time. That.
Right.
Coming up, they don't have an easy one. They've got the Clearfield Bison 5-2, 4-1 in the league. We just talked about them. They're coming off of a loss to Tyrone. Mm-hmm. Problem is, Bellefonte has trouble stopping the run, and guess what Clearfield does? They run. Brody Collins, the sophomore, 943 yards, 10 touchdowns on the season. Carter Chamberlain, 63 carries, 396 yards. They are averaging 257 yards on the ground per game. And if those names are wrestling fans out there, Collins was a state qualifier as a freshman, and I believe Carter Chamberlain made it too. Yeah, because Trey Shoemaker beat him from Mifflin County. He went to states too, so it's no surprise that they're Clearfield's 2 best runners because wrestlers can do everything. So, your thoughts, prediction?
Okay, well, I'll just start by premises saying that I will be covering this game. So,
That's great.
Anybody from Bellefonte, I know your kids play hard, and I don't mean to disrespect in any way, but when you're young and you're injured, it's hard to produce something against a team like Clearfield. And I'm going to say it's going to be a 49-12 ball game for Clearfield.
Yeah, I think the Bison, you're going to get a heavy dose of Brody Collins and Carter Chamberlain. And, they were neck and neck. They beat Bald Eagle, Clearfield did. They lost only by a touchdown to Tyrone. Yeah, I think it's going to be ugly. I think I'm going to go 51-14 Clearfield. Now, P.O., we talked about them. We'll flash the score up quick. 42-13, they lost to Bald Eagle. They have the same problem, Kenny. Their offense, they got none.
Right.
Really, except for they've been outscored 230-94, a little bit better than Bellefonte. They're averaging 14 points a game. They got these guys run, and they use a quadruple backfield. Chakotay Jones, Dylan Barger, Sam McDonald, their quarterback, Ben Gusky. And they average 142 yards a game, so they're going to have to try to establish the run. They're taking on a team, honestly, I looked at their stats I know nothing about. The North Star Cougars are 2-5, Phillipsburg 1-6. North Star is down there in the Johnstown area. If you've never been down there, I have a couple times.
Mhm.
Uh, they they love to pass. Connor Yoder, uh, he has 15 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions, uh, over 1,000 yards passing, and he spreads it out. 5 wide receivers and double-digit catches. Isaac Berkey, Ethan Smith, Cody House, Mitchell Pristis, and Garrett Turnstall. I don't know much about them. Actually, I know nothing about them. So if you want to talk about Phillipsburg a little bit, go ahead.
Yeah, Phillipsburg's one of these teams that unfortunately they don't have a lot of players out. They have a problem with the depth, and but on a good note, if Ben Gutsky can get some time and to pass, he can be a real threat for the Mounties. Their running game, Jacoby Jones is it Jacoby Jones?
Yeah, Jacody.
Yeah, Jacody. He was the running back that shined pretty good last week in their loss to the Bald Eagle area. So yeah, I know nothing about North Star. Whenever I saw it, I thought of the movie Meatballs.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know who they are, the school,
Mm-hmm.
because they've had some good wrestling teams. And I've actually been down there by the school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I don't. All I know is they're 2-5 and they like to pass. Give me your prediction of the
Okay.
game.
Well, the Mounties unfortunately gave up, I think over 200 yards passing from Bald Eagle. I definitely know that they gave up 4 touchdown passes from Carson Nagle. Actually, they had 200. They had 280 against them for passing yardage. So I'm gonna say, unfortunately, Phillipsburg will play tough. It just won't be enough though, and I look for North Star to win 28-7.
Yeah, I think Phillipsburg is like Belfont. Their offense is really just not there. I'm going to take it 31-14 North Star. Now we come to the big game of the week.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that with all the
This
excitement.
will be Saturday at 1:00. First, we'll go with what State College did last week. Rolled over Carlisle 49-20. And instead of Deontay Sheffy, it was quarterback the Finn Fermanic show. He
Mm-hmm.
had 219 yards passing with 3 touchdowns and 81 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. The Fermanic show. Sheffy ran for 85 yards, and he did have a receiving touchdown, but it was all Fermanic as they rolled over the thundering herd.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say what happened though in the first half for State College. I don't know if they were looking past Carlisle or not, but they actually trailed, I believe, up until the beginning of the third quarter, 10-0. So
I think they probably all were. It's understandable.
oh yeah, most definitely. But then once they started rolling, it's just it was contagious. Scoring was contagious, and they just blew the doors off them.
Because, I mean, this is for the Mid-Penn Commonwealth Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, as we talked about yesterday on the press box, this could be a preview of the Western Finals because they're the top 2 ranked teams in the West. The top State College is 4th in the state in 6A. Harrisburg is 6th. And the 3 teams ahead of them 2 are from District 1 and 1's from District 12 on the East. So the top 2 teams in the West are Harrisburg and State College. So they could be meeting in the Western Finals for a chance to go into the state finals. And I think that's what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know State College was trailing. I think they were looking ahead, and it's understandable.
Right.
But they're still rolling. They average 41 points a game. They only give up 15. But we are coming to a beast of a defense. Harrisburg is 5-1, 4-0. Their loss was to Manheim Township. They are giving up only 8 points a game,
Mm.
Mr. Warner. They've had back-to-back shutouts where they've outscored their opponents 100-0. 100-0.
Jeez.
They are averaging 38 points a game. So they actually they're right up there in offense with State College, but they have a better defense. If you're looking at points per game,
Mhm.
they're outscoring their opponents 226-56. And they have balance like State does. But they even have no offense to Fermanic, but he actually is in a platoon with Yurka.
Mhm.
They use a adult quarterback system. Lee for Harrisburg, only a sophomore, is completing 69% of his passes, 84 of 121, 1,098 yards, 9 touchdowns. And then Mekhi Hopkins, running back, 602 yards, 9 touchdowns. Kyle Williams, 348, 6 touchdowns on the ground. Williams also is their leading receiver, 23 catches, 3 scores. And Amir Granberry, 22 catches, 301 score. I've been watching the film of these guys, and they like to roll. Lee is not a pocket passer. He'll roll out to his left or right every time he throws. Every time. But the thing is, and we got to get on the defense. 6'2", 240-pound defensive end, Terrell Reynolds is a beast, my friend. 52 tackles, 13 tackles for loss. Get ready for this. 9.5 sacks.
Jeez.
This defense on the year, we were talking about Bald Eagle. They have 20 sacks, 48 tackles for loss, and 8 picks.
Wow.
Impressive. I actually think they have the defense that could shut Sheffy down. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I believe so too, especially being just a freshman. He gets stopped quite a bit. He could be frustrated all night. I don't think that there's an Achilles heel on the Harrisburg defense at all. So, yeah, this would be the game that Sheffy might have to be helped out a little bit. They may have to find another running back to go to kind of, to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think they might have to do what they did against Carlisle and pass the football.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great game, though. I'm going to flash the rankings up. Pennsylvania football news. District 6 teams ranked. State College 4th in 6A. Penn Cambria 7th in AAA. Richland 3rd in 2A. And they're number 1 in the district where Bald Eagle area is. And Penn's Manor is 8th in single A. That is the 4 state-ranked teams from District 6. But, yeah, it's going to be a barn burner. It's Saturday, 1 o'clock, Severance Field in Harrisburg. And we're going to try maybe to live stream that. How about it, Mr. Varner?
We're going to do our best. Yeah,
now, it wouldn't be video. When I say live stream, it's going to be audio like we have here right now. We don't have the money or the cameras or anything right now, to be honest, to live stream video or the time. We'd have to, we don't want to hire crew people, right? Right, Kenny?
No, not right now.
Maybe in the future, but no. So we're still going to try to stream it. We'll let you know. We'll announce it on the Central PA Sports Facebook page if we do. But yeah, give me your prediction for this big game.
I just think you can take all the stats and throw them out. This is one of those prime time blockbusters that you got to see that, that all eyes of Pennsylvania will be focused on this Saturday. And I think that State College can outlast Harrisburg, but it's going to be one of these tight ball games. I think it's going to be 49-48.
Wow, you're picking explosive.
Mm.
I'm going the opposite. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game with 2 tough defenses. I am going 21-20 Harrisburg.
Ooh.
I think I always, when it's a close game, I always go home team. I'm going home. They're equal on offense, but Harrisburg has a better defense than State College,
Mm-hmm.
I think. So I'm going to go with Harrisburg 21-20. All
Oh,
right. That
cool.
is the high school football show. Once again, if you have any requests, comments, anything you want to talk about, go and drop us a line, the pressbox9921@gmail.com. The pressbox9921@gmail.com. And that's going to wrap it up for the high school football show. We'll be back Wednesday for the Press Box podcast. And maybe on Saturday, if we do, we'll be going at 12:45 for the pregame. We'll let you know. We're going to maybe live stream, broadcast the State College Harrisburg match game. Sorry, I'm in wrestling mode. We'll let you know. So, any parting words, Kenny?
Just thanks everybody for listening, and I hope everyone has a safe and happy weekend, and your team that you're rooting for wins.
Yes, me too. And everybody, I know you're all going to be flocking to the TV for the Commanders Bears game tonight. Ugh, what a terrible game to put on national TV.
There hasn't been many good games. At least it's not the Broncos. They finally got the Broncos.
Yeah, really. But hey, we want to thank also Jesse Nagle, the Bald Eagle area head football coach, for taking the time after practice to come on. We appreciate that, and we thank him. And that's going to wrap it up. And I echo Kenny. Thank you for listening. Have a great weekend and stay healthy, people. We will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye. Good night.